Keith.
Okay, Mr. President, the executive committee met with, during the month with our engineers and a few other people to discuss the improvement to the Section F berm. And we threw a few ideas of trucking it or getting a dredge barge in, and we're still waiting on quotes on that, so we don't have a final answer yet.
Anybody in the audience for the purpose of addressing the board? Hearing none, we'll move to the general manager, Wendell.
I don't know if this slides show some progress going on. August, this is August 15th, about October 15th, we get to the hurricane. And we've got some good improvements since last year. This is the work that's going on, there was all the two-frame form. We have levee approaching that area, it's up to 18 feet. The levee drops to 13 feet in this area. And we believe between the point of where the form starts to the bridge, you'll agree to allow us to try to get up to 60-foot elevation. And that's where we're trying to approach to. We're under a budget of $250,000, but we're getting good progress on it. Here we're raising it up to 16 right here. Looks like we're going to get to that level. The excavators doing a good job. These are contract excavators that do the jobs for us. We have different contract on each end. And again, you can see this steel levee. It's well compacted over here. We're just taking from the top and putting the protected side support for it. And this is looking north in the same area. And then that's a little bit further down the levee looking up. Again, we took from the canal, we took the dry dirt from the bank, placed it here, then we filled the hole back up from the borough canal, and then took the dry material and placed it on top. So we have good compacted material that's going on top. This is the contract to the north end of that segment. This is where C North and C South begins. And again, he's getting the dirt up. Now he's digging the borough canal a little bit wide in this area. We didn't have enough material to just dig on the compacted material and fill it back in, and we're taking some material from the canal. So we should get pretty close to 16 the whole way. And again, that's him doing some, getting the second pile moving it toward the levee, and he's not quite on top yet. This is the area just south of there. This is the mitigation for the Morganza levee section. K, section K, yeah. And why else we didn't do mitigation? But the greenest part of it is actually outside of the mitigation area. It's just, that used to be open water. I've got a few more shots to kind of show that. Yeah. This is the containment right here. And that's the canal to make the containment. And the grass is growing there, but not as good as it is on the outside of the containment. And they had trouble sealing, as a pipeline passes through here, they had trouble sealing it with their little levee, and they tried hay bales and different things. But they kept pumping in to fill it in, and some of it seeped out, but it actually made some really nice moisture on the outside. So they actually made more moisture than was originally designed.
About 9 acres.
9 acres more than the design. What was it, 33 acres?
40. 40.
40. And that's all that mitigation area. And here we headed, now we're looking south. This is John GIS is doing, bringing the levee up to 18 feet. And that's the outside. Now this portion hasn't been raised yet. We have a solid 15, and what's good, we have good compacted soil, good grass growth on it, and then we're going to be bringing that up for another 2 to 3 feet. Okay, that's the area that hasn't been raised. We're looking toward the north right here. And looking toward the south, here we have it raised up to the 18 feet. And again, the protected side has the support for that higher elevation. Now, this is the biggest improvement that we've done this is the Golden Meadow pump station right here. This used to be up to 13 feet, and just completed the construction and got it up to 17 feet. And there's Catfish Lake back here, Jean Bezos Canal. Pump station number 2 is over, number 1 is over here. Now this is looking east. You see see the wall going across. You see Yankee Canal over here. You have the water tower, that's the unpumped area that's inside the levee system. We call this section A East. And again, here it is heading south, there's a 4-lane highway, there's a pump station. But this was the lowest area we had that far south of the system. So that's a big improvement. And then on the east side, we're building around the Suez Forum, their pump station here. This was the 14 feet, we're bringing it up to 18 feet. Now, they're still in progress, there's some H-piles that are going in. And again, it's gonna raise it to 18 feet, that's the lowest area on that side, that's far south. And you can see the support piles. A lot of steel, built very strongly. Once completed, we don't think there'll be any problems. The Corps had built this splash pad, and they had a terrible splash pad to do the support piles. And it's just support piles, I think about 70 feet. And then you have piles here, and then we have the wall here, and the support on top of that. And we'll have that up to 18 feet. The surrounding levee is about 17. And there's also work in that area. And then the work we're doing at E-South and E-North, this is the only area that we're actually a little bit lower than what the flood insurance program had suggested. So we're building this up to 13 and a half, 14, and continue to do the work. And this is all around the Cloville area. People on Cloville donated the right of way over here. That's the pits to take the dirt to build over here. There are pits. As this is looking south, we just finished completing this up to about 14 and a half. And then this is the worst area that we have as far as compiling of water. You know, when you get an angle less than 90 degrees, it builds up the water more. This is one of the cases where, again, if you get clarity from being obtuse, the more to the angle over 90 degrees, the better. And we're trying to build this area 3 feet higher than the rest of the levee. Again, that's back to the ball area, the pit. Again, building out toward the north, that's north, the southeast corner. That's Superior Dock, Superior Canal over here. We definitely want to get this elevated higher because when the winds direct out the south, you have Superior Canal, be more efficient in bringing the water to the levee over there. And again, this is looking west, and that's the same corner I was talking about. I mean, this is the borough pit. That's finishing the work over there. Borough pit again. And again, that's the work on section F. Again, that was a little bit lower than 13. We're building this. 14 or 13 and a half?
13.
13. That's in a coastal over here, and again, bringing the crown up to 13-foot elevation. And it's, the inside berm is a little low, and when the Corps first built this levee, they had a lot of shale density in there, and we have a little concern that there might be some possibility of some piping in here, so we're looking at getting some work done on the inside berm to increase the strength of pump station number 7. That's the Coastal Canal. That's at the corner of F. That's Delta Palms Road coming through here. And that's the work on the levee again, looking south. Again, that's a plus 1 foot elevation. We maintain this around -7. So every day there's about 8 foot differential from one side to the other. That's part of the work. And station up here, an elevation work. And then on the Morganza project, section K and Grand Bayou, talking about improvements for the hurricane season. Being able to close this. This is the most efficient way of getting water up into the eastern part of Terrebonne at the North Lafourche. Of course, we have our levee system to help defend against it, but for those people that don't have a lot of defense, and this is closing the most efficient way of getting water up to the front. here's section K. This is around 12 feet. It goes to 10 feet. Most of it's at an 8-foot elevation, but that's tremendous. That's a lot higher than the past few years, and it's a big step up in protection. I believe it was, I think it was Rita, Fairmont Parish had like 11,000 homes flooded. Same water elevation for Barry. And for Barry, there was only 11 houses flooded because of the increases in K. And now with this bill and with K going to the elevation that it has, that same storm would produce zero flooding in the Portneuf area that we had last year. So this is a great improvement. Now, saying that, we still have a gap between the gate over here and the Dufresne Farm. So that's a project that Neil's going to talk about and be in advertising right now. And that's, again, but compared to last year, you have a tremendous amount of improvement in stopping the water from going up in that area. That's cheap out. And this gate is built up to 18 feet. Although the levees are smaller, the hard structure's in terrible, and they decided to go to 18 because eventually that's where they got to get some of the levees to. But they're just not there yet. And it's a lot easier to alter the height of a levee than the hard structure. It costs a lot more money. So it's a good strategy to do that. And that's the work on the edges. But this has been coming along very well and very successfully. We were there for closure, and I don't know if this is going to play. The internet's been causing us problems. This is the little promo that GIS does. Nope. Okay, we'll check on the YouTube. And you have that, all right? Okay, the 2021 audit, contract audit, we have every year, or get doing an audit right now, so that's going on. Any comments, Mary?
No, they're not gonna come down, they're gonna do it remotely because of COVID. So, yeah.
All right.
We're working it all.
I included in your packet the core quarterly report, sponsor that we get that every year. The last time they actually came down and justified the numbers, but they said they do it every year. They came in 1993, they haven't been back since. So anyway, the general numbers and, well, that's Sleeping Dog Lie on that. Section D, page 3, that's the job we're trying to finish near Yankee Canal. We'd like to authorize $250,000, up to $250,000, that we can get quotes from contractors to finish that job. So I need a motion from the board to allow us to spend up to $250,000 to complete by getting quotes so we can complete that job. Again, that's called desal.
Desal, section 3.
Yeah.
Okay, moved by Roland, second by Matt. Any discussion with it? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, the key talked about the section F burn, and we'll get the reports in the next week from PCO. Again, section F burn, Go Mesa. We're getting some Go Mesa money, and we'd like for the board to base that money, it's about $1 million, on the section F burn project. So we need a motion for an agreement with CPRE to dedicate the $1 million funds to section F. I'd like a motion.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of our general manager to dedicate $1 million for the seeking Go Mesa funds to the section F burn through the CPRA, right?
Yes.
I need a motion in a second. Moved by Keith, second by Monty. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And I pointed out the protection improvements for this hurricane season. Hopefully, we are not as busy as last year, and we take a little bit of a break, but if the water's come, we're in better shape now than we were. And the guys have been doing a good job with the pump stations. They're shape that they've been in a long time. We've also, on the rain days, our field guys have been assigned each pump station, so they're out there cleaning up and painting, so they're looking better. We've got almost, the pumps are almost all perfect. You see Popeyes here. The quality of the pumping has gotten better and better. We have that going. The rules lock, yeah, we still, well, I'm talking about the 1.8 billion, and I don't know, it was put on the bond commission agenda, I believe it was passed last week, so that means it's 1.8 million more towards the rules locked. That still leaves us $5 million short of the $15 million estimate. So we're continuing to try to find the money to get that done. We're working with the parish, who's providing $5 billion of their GOMESA funds. And with the port, again, we're trying to figure out a way to get the $15 million and get that project started. And again, that 1.8 million, we got that okayed. That was part of the trip. Got a chance to talk to Chip with CPRA and mentioned how that was coming up to the bond commission. Gave him a phone call and talked about it to him, and he got it to the governor, and the governor put it on the bond commission meeting. I'm assuming we got it through. I haven't had a chance to check that yet.
17, they need on the 17.
On 17. And then the surplus sheet pile, we advertised them, but we had put a minimum price of $20, and there was no bidders. So I'd like y'all to allow us to put them out to bid again, and not have a limit, and we can always reject it if we're not satisfied with the price.
Okay,
If we have no objection, we'll go ahead with that.
we got the recommendation of our general manager, we go ahead and put the bids out, put out the bids on surface sheet piles, and we have reserved the right to return all
Reject all bids.
bids. So we can vote the wish on it. Moved by Lonnie, second by Brian. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Anything else?
That's it.
Any questions about general manager? If not, we'll move on to Dan. CPRA.
Yeah, Daniel here with CPRA. Just update on a few agreements. A couple of GOMESA projects. Wendell, you just touched on Section F berm. The intergovernment agreement has been submitted. Obviously, you guys have it now for review and comment. The other one I have is the GOMESA LaRose flood wall improvements. That's still being drafted by CPRA before submitting to you guys.
That's the wall protection, yeah, the barrier. to
Right,
protect the
exactly.
flood wall, yeah.
Yes, and that's GOMESA funded as well. Yeah, so we still have that agreement. A couple more I do have, the Morgans, the Gulf Reach L, you mentioned, that IGA, that intergovernment agreement with us is being drafted up as well. It'll be submitted to both you guys and Terrebonne Levee for review. And finally, we have our state ID is TE 154 is the overall Rose Gold Meadow. That we are doing amendment number 2 that's being drafted for that time extension, as well as the new revised project list for that amendment. So that's it.
Okay, any questions for Dan? Thank you, Dan. Okay, we'll move on to our project engineers. Let's show this over to Joe.
Yes, on Levee Section E North, Grand Shipyard is the contractor. He's been on the site hauling material the last couple of weeks. He is making significant progress. As you've seen in the photos, he's close to the end on the last borrow pit. So we expect that barring any significant weather, he should be finished at the end of this month, hauling the material that he has. We have no pay application this month for this project. On Section F, Onshore Materials is the contractor. So he's working from about the middle of the project going back to the north towards pump station number 7. And he's also working on the change order that we gave him to add some material on the berm of the project to clear up those areas that are seeping pretty bad. And then he's about 3/4 of the way towards the pump station. Once he's done there, he's going to start working from the middle, going to the south towards Globally. He is making good progress when he's able to work. We have pay application number 5 in the amount of $63,953.33, and we do recommend you pay that.
Okay, now I have an opportunity to correct you.
Sir?
The amount is $64,000.
Okay, sorry.
$64,000. Well, you haven't corrected me, now I can correct you.
10 years.
Yeah, the recommendation engineer to
Take that out
pay
too.
onshore materials $64,000 $953.33. Your wish, gentlemen. Moved by Matt, second by Brian. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you. The Golden Meadow Pump Station flood wall, sea level's the contractor. He's substantially complete and in the lean period. He's working on a couple of punch list items, mostly to do with cleaning up some grout and some painting, but the project is done. We do have pay application number 10 in the amount of $12,061.20, and we do recommend you pay that.
Okay, you've heard our engineers recommend paying sea level. The request number 10, the amount of $12,061.20. Your wishes, gentlemen. Moved by Keith, second by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Yes, on the LaRose Lock, the plans and specs are complete. We submitted to the Corps of Engineers for approval. We're trying to get in contact with them and see what their progress is. We've also submitted plans to Mary this morning to send to facility planning and control, which is in anticipation of getting this $1.8 million from the state capital outlay bonding. So those things are all in progress. I mean, the big thing is the permitting. On section D South Phase 3, we do have outer limit out there right now. He's grading and shaping the material, the excess material we had on the levee coming from the crawfish farm wall going toward the south, or towards the pump station. And then eventually we're going to get the prices and we're going to work on the bar pit.
Any questions, Joe? Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have GIS engineers, Laura.
All right, so the first update I have is A East Lafourche water retention. It is, what, 8, 10, 12 years in the making. We got the draft core permit.
The core permit,
Yes,
10 years.
yes.
Okay.
So we got the draft. I think you've got that. If not, I've got a hard copy with me to take a look at, make any comments that you have, and then sign and send back to them. So progress there. As far as the pipeline utility crossing agreements, just a reminder, I think we had 7 pipelines that for this 80s project that we're crossing. We've got all of those worked out except 2, Chevron and Entergy are the 2 remaining that we need to, that we're continuing to work on getting crossing agreements for them. And then the last item will be certitude requirements that we're still working with the attorney on getting that. And then once everything comes together, we'll be able to go out for bids. Next project is D South flood wall improvements. Wendell had pictures up there, which you can see they are doing, working on the east side portion of the wall, driving the plumb and batter H piles, and then also fabricating the sheet pile section to raise the flood wall. So we do have recommendations for sea level for pay application number 2 in the amount of $291,958.75.
Heard the recommendation of the engineers to pay sea level, pay application number 2 in the amount of $291,958.75. Your wishes, gentlemen. Moved by Monty, second by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Well, how long do you think before they have substantial completion?
So this contract is scheduled to end early November.
Still scheduled?
Yes, yes. And then I did touch base with CPRA on the status of the phase 2. So we had submitted the phase 2 plans. They reviewed those, sent comments back, minor comments. We returned those mid-July, and they just need to close those out. And so phase 2 will be ready to go to bid when we're ready. All right, next project, D North Ramp. So we had phase 1 that we put out for quotes, solicited quotes to excavate and stockpile the material from the borrow pit. We did get 1 quote which is over the 250,000 threshold, so we are negotiating, or at least, trying to contact Lowland to see if there are any things that we can do to kind of get that back under the limit. So no action there. On Grand Bayou flood control structure, you saw the progress there. So on the flood wall and receiving, they've installed the final set on the west side flood wall of the plumb and batter. They're working on the sheet pile, installing the flood wall, and working on the timber defender installations on both the east and west side. And then also, I think that you could see in one of the pictures, so the settlement area on the west side had excess material, and so they're pulling that up right now and then closing the gap, per se, between the abutment and reach, to bring that all up to elevation. So, let's see, yep, payout number 20. We are recommending payment for sea level, and that is in the amount of $427,453.19.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineers to pay sea level. The application number 20, in the amount of $427,000, $453.19. Your wish, gentlemen. Moved by Max, seconded by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
So the barge gate successfully installed. We did hold the substantial completion inspection on the 26th. So we do have a recommendation for the board to accept the substantial completion that's dated July 21st for sea level construction. At that time, we made a punch list, so they've got the 45-day lien period, and they've got the punch list items. It's probably, we got about 20 items on there. For the most part minor, that they're working through, and we're just checking them off as they're completed.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineers to pay sea level. Pay number 10, the amount of $283,000 and $283,534.15. It just rolls over the tongue. Okay, moved by Matt, second by Brian. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And then also the acceptance of the certificate of substantial completion.
You need a motion to that, to accept it? Okay, you heard the recommendation by engineers, moved by Brian, second by Monty. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
So we're looking at doing a dedication, I believe, in October, and so more information on that to come probably at your next meeting. I think we talked about dedicating it in honor of Reggie Bagala. So we'll probably have a resolution on the next meeting toward that.
And that's rededication of the Grand Bayou and also.
They're gonna do Grand Bayou and the ribbon cutting for the H&C
Yeah,
block.
yeah. We both at the same time, yeah.
From there. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Any questions, Laura? Wendell and I were discussing this earlier, and I keep making this statement at every one of our meetings. All this money that's going to the organza, we pay for it, and then we get reimbursed. And I will make it a point of reminding everybody that we're supposed to get reimbursed. But sometimes the payment is late coming in through no fault of anybody else. But the main fact is, we paid the bill. We're out that money. Well, what about $3 million right now? That's
It's
what
been
we're doing.
consistent, it was up to $5 million, it's a consistent $3 million, and new projects are coming on, so as we pay off and get repaid back, we bid out other jobs, and then our money is taking care of new jobs, so we've been an average of $3 million that's been out of our checking account continually since we started the big projects.
So we're talking about maybe getting a meeting with us, North Lafourche, and Terrebonne, and working out some things, maybe some sort of escrow account can be put, that the money can be put in there, and the minute we pay the bill, we draw the money back, we're not out. Because this is starting to put a crunch on some of our projects we have to do for our work over here. And if we can't afford to pay our contractors, we're gonna have a problem over here. We got the money, but our money's out. There's no reflection on Terrebonne or North Lafourche, but sometimes with state agencies, federal agencies, money's slow coming in. So we'd like to get this agreement, and we're gonna meet with them to set this up as soon as possible.
And then the thing is this, we're waiting on some money so we can do the lot,
Yeah.
the rules. Once we sign that, we committed $15 million, we need to have that money in our account when we do that commitment. So that's where that $3 million can come in. It's not been a problem for us yet, but I can see a problem when we start doing a couple of the bigger projects, so, that would be the best way to solve it.
Okay, any questions for Laura? Thank you, Laura. Okay, Angelette Pisciolo.
All right, on the D North and D South levee improvements, this is the based on pump station down to Golden Meadow Park. That contractor was Ponce Train Partners. The work is complete on the project, and we're currently in the clearing period waiting on that certificate. On the C South levee improvements, the contractor is Grand Isle Shipyard. Work is continuing on the project, and we are recommending approval of their pay request number 15 in the amount of $10,184.07.
Okay, you made a recommendation during the GIS, pay request number 15, an amount of $10,184.07. Your wish, gentlemen. Moved by Rose, second by Brian. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, on the Rose flood wall height improvements, that contractor is sea level construction. Work is continuing, going well. They have all of the additional sheet piles added onto the old sheet piles at this time, but most of it is just tacked in place. So right now they're going through and doing all the structural welding on that project. We anticipate they're going to be done probably by October. And today we're recommending approval of their pay request number 4 in the amount of $33,198.22.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of engineers to pay seal level payment number 4, pay request number 4, the amount of $33,198.22. Your wish, gentlemen. Moved by Rose, second by Mack. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, and lastly, the Morganza to the Gulf Reach L. This is really the last gap in the Morganza system. And we're currently advertising to receive bids on August 19th for the project. This is going to be a brand new levee out in the marsh from the southwest side of the Apache Farm, across Bayou Bleu, and all the way out to the new structure on Grand Bayou that's being built right now at sea level.
Okay, any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, moving to the Delta Consultants. Anybody here from Delta Consultants? Delta Coast? Good. Okay, then all south. Stevie?
Mr. Chairman, we got a couple of projects to report on Reach K. The first one is referred to in the agenda as emergency rehabilitation of Reach K. This is what we call a shaping contract that Sea Level has been doing for us on Reach K for the better part of a year. This project is just about complete. We're not hauling any more material to the project site. They've got a little bit of shaping to do really at the bottom end towards Pointe-aux-Chenes, but the vast majority of Reach K between the floodgate and Pointe-aux-Chenes is all shaped and in position. And as Wendell, I think, alluded to, there's nothing along Reach K right now that's below 8. There's some places that are above a 10, and frankly, there's some places that are above an 11 in a few spots. This work is almost complete. We do have 2 pay applications that are on the agenda today. Pay application number 9 is in the amount of $9,939.38. And then we have number 10, which is in the amount of $11,853.62. And we recommend approval of both of them, Mr. Chairman.
You heard the recommendation of engineers to pay sea level pay application number 9 in the amount of $9,939.38, and also number 10 in the amount of $11,853.62. Your wish, gentlemen. Moved by Keith, second by Monty. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the contract where we hired Sea Level to bring dirt to Reach K for them to shape under the other contract. So this job is complete. Again, this is, and Mr. Chairman, getting to your point, this was a contract that is FEMA funded, but this agency has fronted the cash flow as we await for FEMA reimbursement. So this is kind of in line with your comments a minute ago, which, by the way, I think, Mary, I'm hopeful that we'll start seeing some significant cash flow for that soon, because we've cleared all the administrative hurdles for that. So, but with that being said, this project is complete. We've got a certificate of substantial completion, but we would recommend the board consider and approve. Its date of substantial completion on this one would be July 8th, 2021. And again, this job is over.
Okay, engineers have suggested we accept the certificate of issue a certificate of substantial completion. To which?
To sea level.
Sea level, okay, to sea level. Your wishes, gentlemen, moved by Keith, second by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
So the last thing we have in my section, Mr. Chairman, is to remind the board, we constructed a marsh project as mitigation for Reach Cave. Wendell showed you some pictures of it a short while ago. It came out, frankly, very nice. We also built what we call terraces in the Grand Bayou unit of the Pointe-aux-Chenes Wildlife Management Area. Some of those terraces were damaged in Hurricane Barry. When we had the overwash from Hurricane Barry, it damaged the levee as well as the terraces. We successfully applied for FEMA funding to rebuild the terraces that were damaged by Hurricane Barry. And again, you as the board have to build these terraces and maintain them as mitigation, okay? So the next item is to authorize us to solicit quotes for repair to these terraces, these marsh terraces that were damaged, funded with FEMA dollars, okay? The cost estimate to repair these terraces is somewhere in the order of $600,000 to $700,000, okay? But there's FEMA funding coming to pay you for it. So out of pocket, it's really 25% out of pocket. I believe Terrebonne pays you back that 25%. So for this entity, it actually being zero out of pocket, okay? You're allowed to solicit quotes for this type of repair work because we had a special piece of legislation passed about 6 or 7 years ago that allows levee boards to do mitigation up to $1 million through a quote process as opposed to a full public bid process. So with all that being said, the request of the board today is to authorize staff working with AllSouth to solicit quotes for the terrace repairs for Reach Cave.
Okay, you have a recommendation of our engineers to solicit quotes for Reach Cave terrace repair work. Your wishes, gentlemen, moved by Roland, second by Keith. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Let me ask you one question. This again goes to what I was talking about a while ago. In the future, these marsh mitigation projects, which are all done to protect Reach Cave, it does good for us too, but it basically, what happens in the future if work has to be done to those? Who's responsible for taking care of that?
The Solid Foods Levee District is the permit recipient. So the obligation to maintain the mitigation areas, if they don't last, is on the Solid Foods Levee District. It is.
Okay, do we have an agreement that we would be reimbursed for any repairs? See, this is done to protect your levee?
I would just defer to Mr. Chair to answer that
We
one.
can't give an answer then, huh?
No, but we have an agreement with Terrebonne and Lafourche that they are responsible. You see, we have an agreement with them that says everything that we do, and that's in our name on that project, they are responsible for the cost and the final responsibility to take care of all the legalities that we're faced with.
Okay, so there's
So we're totally protected.
There's no quotation marks around everything. Everything, okay.
Yeah.
Fine print.
No, this is the big print.
It's not that I suspect anything wrong with, I think we had good relationship
No,
with
no.
you, but you never know what's gonna happen in the future. We could be stuck, and we just limited funds. We just don't have access to those funds.
And
No,
the
but
point is, the stuff don't stay on us. It comes to us, then it goes to them.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, before we get off that point, I will relate to this board, having been in about 2,000 meetings with Mr. Curl on this subject, that is raised every time he gets a chance to talk, okay? So much so that we joke about him when he's not in the room, which is, I think, what you want to hear, right? We hear it so much that we joke about him when he's not there, so. Okay.
Okay. Any questions of Stevie? Thank you, Stevie. Okay, moving on to legal permits and rights of way. Mentioned not here.
No,
We have
there's one, and actually it's an extension from Crimson Midstream into pipeline, and it's not, doesn't affect our levy at all. It's an extension from a permit we granted in 2019, so I would suggest the board go ahead and grant them the extension.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of our general manager to extend the permit to Crimson Midstream for the work that's being done. Your wishes, Jim, move on that, second by Keith. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do we have any litigation issues to be discussed? See, we don't have an attorney here, we don't have to discuss. Okay. Okay, finance committee, Bonnie.
Okay, Mr. Chair,
Somebody.
Finance Committee met and we recommend all invoices be paid as presented.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation and the motion by the chairman of the finance committee that the invoices be paid, seconded by Keith. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, maintenance report, Keith.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we met, and I can't give, we're not ready to give a full report. There's some issues on repairs to pump number 5 at pump station number 4. And we gotta bring it to our attorney, and hopefully next meeting we'll know more about it.
Okay. Personnel committee, Bonnie.
Mr. President, Personnel Committee reviewing some promotions and vacant positions need to be filled. We got 5 of them, so maybe we should go over each one and have the board pass it. Individually, yes. So we're promoting Chase Burke to lot 2 mobile equipment operator 2 heavy. I'd like board approval.
Okay, we're gonna make a move by Bonnie that we approve those, seconded by Roland. Any question, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, and also we're gonna fill a vacant position of mobile equipment operator 1 heavy with Robbie Sawalk. He's given a 6-month probation period.
Heard the recommendation from the chairman to hire Robbie Sawalk, mobile equipment operator number 1 heavy with a 6-month probation period, seconded by Roland Guidry. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay. We're also moving levy foreman B, Eric Chassel, to a vacant mobile equipment operator 1 position with no pay change.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the chairman to move Eric Chasson to mobile equipment operator 1 with no pay change, seconded by Roland Guidry. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, and also we're moving Alan Alamo to levy foreman B position.
Okay, it's a recommendation by the chairman to promote mobile equipment operator number 1, Richard Chicago, to levy foreman A with appropriate pay
Actually,
increase.
it'll be Alan Alamo to levy this, right before Alan.
Okay,
Alan Alamo.
excuse me, I jumped in. Okay, with that correction, gentlemen, your wishes. Moved by Roland, by Marty, second by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Now we'll go to promotion. Richard Gaucho, the levy foreman in position with appropriate pay increase. Moved by, what's your name again? Marty, second by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Yes, it was Mr. President. Thank you.
Okay, any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Any new business? The chair will entertain a motion. Moved by Brian, second by Mac. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no.